Namaskar, my name is Gaurish Borkar and I welcome you to Vizro. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting and an important question, and that's about Kalasarpa Yoga. Some people also call it as Kalasarpa Dosha. And there are many questions around this. In fact, this particular yoga isn't documented. It's not written in any of the standard classical texts. I searched a lot for this particular yoga and I couldn't find it anywhere. Most interesting thing is it's in my own horoscope. However, I couldn't really see any results of this particular yoga in my life, and that's why I was wondering, is there any such thing called Kalasarpa Dosha or Kalasarpa Yoga? Recently, what happened is one of my students asked me a very interesting question, and that question was about Karma Vipaka Siddhanta. His point was, if Karma Vipaka Siddhanta theory or Karma Vipaka theory is correct, then what about the first birth of us as human beings? It's a very interesting question, and I answered him because I had already thought about this. However, I wanted to present the proofs of all these topics, and that's why I thought of studying the horoscopes of people who could recollect their previous birth. So I created a database, I created a set of around 250 horoscopes and started studying uh, these horoscopes. They were from all the countries across the globe. They were some of them were from Europe, some of them were from US, some of them were from Canada, some of them were from India, some of them were from Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Japan, across the globe. And I found certain interesting facts about this yoga, that is Kalasarpa Yoga. I have documented all my findings in my book called Astrology of Reincarnation. Along with this, I have made an attempt to answer many different questions that we all had. One of my belief is that astrology is actually the way we can present or prove the principles mentioned in Vedas because it's a practical science. And on this line, I have presented certain documentation around what is Shraddha, the effect of Shraddha, how can we get a better gati, how can we help a person at home who is bedridden to get a better gati, what are the different ways to do the Shraddha, what are different types of Kalasarpa dosha, what is the effect of Kalasarpa dosha, is it really bad or is it good or is it not good or bad, or is it something else? So many such questions. What is the result of retrograde planets? How can we identify the horoscope of the next birth based on the uh, horoscope of this particular birth? What is the meaning of Tripad Nakshatra? What is the meaning of Panchak Nakshatra? Is there anything more than that is documented? Are these nakshatras really bad? What are the patterns that we find in the Dashavataras? How are they applicable to our life as far as rebirth is concerned? Based on the time of death, how quickly we can get the next birth? Based on there are certain principles about the deaths which are mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Can those be proven using the statistical study of horoscopes that I had collected? What saints say about the Gati, and is that really true? Can we have a proof of it? How unnatural deaths, what is the meaning of unnatural death, why it is considered bad? Is it really bad? What about the association of pregnant women with the dead bodies or deaths at home or around our houses? Why the birth defects are caused? Why the birthmarks are caused? Is there any association of birth defects and birthmarks with the previous life? And there are so many such questions. Vimshottari Dasha. Uh, do we continue with the same Vimshottari Dasha that paused in the previous life? If that is so, how would it happen? If that is not so, then how the next Dasha would be decided? And so on and so forth. So if all these or some of these questions or many of these questions also are in your mind, then astrology of reincarnation would help you to answer all these questions. So I highly encourage you to go for that particular book. This is about the astrology of reincarnation and the association of reincarnation with Kalasarpa Dosha or Kalasarpa Yoga. So I'm sure you would go for that book in case you are interested in these questions. I'm going to pause here. I know there are so many other questions that would be in your mind. I'm sure most of that would be answered in the book as well. So I'll pause here today. See you next time in such other interesting topics. Till then, Namaskar.